Bisexual people of Reddit, what are the biggest differences between having a relationship with a man and with a woman? As a man, men who've only dated women before are really easy to impress. I bought my ex dinner a few times and he just about lost his mind because no one had done that for him before. I've heard lesbians say the same thing about women. So I think it's more of a societal expectation thing than anything else. The whole who buys dinner debate still just blows my entire mind. Me and my BF just switch off. If we can remember who paid last hour, we don't go out that often. And it makes it all so much easier to deal with. Nobody really pays more than the other and there isn't some big to do about who's supposed to buy. My partner and I just have an unspoken whoever picks the place pays rule. It works out pretty well. Hey babe, wanna go out for dinner tonight? Sure. Where you wanna go? Up to you. Anywhere you want. Oh okay cool. Hey wait a minute.
This video is brought to you by Fiverr, the biggest, most affordable, and overall the best freelance website there is. It's a place where you can hire anyone from writers to designers and everyone in between for as little as $5. It's absolutely the best place to save time and money for your projects. But if you want to take your business a step further, we would highly recommend Fiverr Pro, a place where you can work with verified, hand-vetted, exceptionally talented professionals that have, with their work for companies like Google or Apple, proven to be the best in their category. Link in the description below.
If I'm with a guy, I can hold hands with him and people will bet him he's my boyfriend. If I'm with a woman, I can hold hands with her and people will bet him she's my sister. Bonus points for a guy asking if he can join in whenever you introduce a woman as your girlfriend. Met this B-girl in college who told me about how a guy we both were acquainted with said that's kinda sexy. Guys like that. When she told him she was bi, we referred to him as guys like that for the rest of the year, when he wasn't in earshot. Like, dude, it's her sexuality. It's not about whether or not guys like it, lol. This is the reason I refuse to go to straight clubs. I can't dance with my GF without some dude trying to get between her and I to join. You know the U-Haul lesbian thing? Totally true. I get so close so fast with other women. While for men it took me 3 years to get my now husband warmed up to the idea of marriage. With my ex-girlfriend before him, she was ready to settle down and get married after like 2 months. Otherwise I'd say I actually do prefer relationships with women. But they can get more intense than relationships I've had with men. But that's not always a good thing. You know the U-Haul lesbian thing? No I do not. What is the U-Haul lesbian thing? The common joke is what do lesbians bring on the first date? A U-Haul. Making fun of the fact that lesbians often jump into commitment. Second date. The joke is they bring a moving truck on the second date. I think the experience is going to be much different for a B-dude as opposed to a B-chick. Straight girls wouldn't date me cause they thought I'd leave them for a guy. Gay guys wouldn't date me cause they thought I'd leave them for a girl. Took too long to scroll down for this. Some of us gay guys are intimidated by that kind of stuff. Be out and proud as B. Let people sort themselves out of your dating pool. I could share clothes with my girlfriend. Now I just steal my male fiance's clothes. I cannot tell you how elated I was when I opened up my new boyfriend's closet and found it filled with flannels. I felt so at home. I bought my wife men's sweatpants for Christmas one year and at first she was upset that I got her big men's sweatpants. Then she wore them and they are now her favorite because they are so comfy. And they have deep pockets. I would love to know but I am a bisexual that's never dated anyone before. Relatable. We cast the widest net, but still failed. And yet, everyone still fears that you're going to date them, even though you've never dated anyone and probably never will. I'm a B-dude. Men, more straightforward, less drama, less head games, can be really nice, but also not as exciting. Women, less straightforward, more drama, but much bigger emotional payoff when things so work out. Painting with an extremely broad brush here. After having dated several people of both genders, I've had drama Y guys and straightforward girls as well. Some B people think that being with your own gender tends to be more enjoyable sexually, because they know what to do already. But I've found that being with the opposite gender is just as enjoyable, with communication and a modicum of practice. I ended up marrying a woman. I'm a bisexual woman and I can thoroughly second this. What do you mean by bigger emotional payoff? As a dude who dates other dudes, a lot of dudes aren't emotionally there. I've found my female friends to be more empathetic than the guys I was trying to have a relationship with. LOL. Just off the top of my head, and noting that everyone is different, there's far more variation between people than between genders. I'm an independent person by nature and I tend to take charge. When I'm changing a tire and my boyfriend is standing off to the side, we get weird looks. No one blinks if my girlfriend is standing there. Women do more housework without being asked. You have to task manage guys more. My current boyfriend is not like this at all. Fortunately, women are more cautious about personal safety. A lot of them, won't go on walks alone in the dark. I'm a taller woman. 5'8", 172 cm. And I've done a lot of solo travel. So I'm a lot less cautious than my girlfriends. And sometimes I have to remind myself to be more mindful of their concerns. Even tomboyish women have more elaborate grooming routines compared to most guys. I've had to talk numerous boyfriends out of 3-in-1 body wash, shampoo, conditioner. Women tend to smell really nice. But, honestly, people of all genders are gross, clean, messy, kinky, loud, absent-minded, annoying, brilliant and lovable. You are a hero from saving those poor things from the clutches of 3-1s. With most of the women I dated, gift acts of kindness were an everyday thing. Like, I'd make an extra stop for something they liked and it wouldn't be a big deal to them. Every single guy I have dated has lost their minds over the little things. When my husband and I first started dating, I stopped and got him a slushie while I got gas. Not even an extra stop. I just set it in front of him at his apartment and you'd have thought it was the holy grail. When my wife was my girlfriend, she worked at Edible Arrangements. When she's come over to my place after work, she's bring me free bags of fresh fruit and smoothies. My girlfriend came with smoothies. I mean, come on. My girlfriend came with smoothies. Thank you for the tip. I'll have to give it a try. Instructions unclear. D stuck in blender. I've dated more women than men, but both of the guys were way easier and more direct than any of the women were. Sex with a guy is easier to get started. Literally you can be playing video games on the couch and suddenly you're both horny and going for it. Women need more prep time. Generally, it's almost never 0-100 in a flash. It's slower to get started and longer to reach the finish. But in my opinion it is more satisfying when you both get there. Culturally it is easier to date women as it isn't immediately seen as taboo by most people. Almost nobody will bat an eye if you kiss as hetero in public. But you'll get a look or two if you're the same gender. These have been my experiences and in no way do I think it is universal. Just the folks that have been nice enough to date me. OMG yes, I am great at flirting with women but terrible at keeping romantic relationships with them. I'm female. Because after the initial sexy times I'm so shy about reinitiating, it tends to just settle back into a close, flirty friendship pattern. Whereas with men I can just start sending signals and they help hit the gas. The biggest gender-based difference I've experienced is how other people look at treat your relationship. Yeah, this hetero I can walk around all day holding hands, occasional kiss, no big deal. Same gender and even holding hands is suddenly an invite for catcalls, verbal abuse and the always terrifying shouts out of moving cars. Social expectations are totally different. Hetero and people can't help but ask about weddings and kids before they even know you. Homo and it's probably a phase. Practically no recognition that your partner is even significant to you. That's changing though. Getting better bit by bit. Emo. Homo and it's probably a phase. Practically no recognition that your partner is even significant to you. This is so true. When my straight friends enter a relationship everyone is like, oh wow, you gonna move in? Gonna get married? Can you imagine what your kids look like? Meanwhile when I'm in a relationship it's treated like a quirky story. Careful what you wish for. but I completely understand. My sister is lesbian and her relationships are treated completely differently to mine in exactly the same way you've experienced. Although part of it is definitely the culture of where we live, and it's getting better over the years for sure. IDK, I've been myself my entire life. Don't worry, you're just on stand B. Just to come up with these arbitrary puns? I'm a small human, and when I date women they're mostly my size. But men are usually at least 6 inches taller and have 50 pounds on me. There are a lot of physical differences with cuddling and sex with partners of different sizes. I love that men can pick me up when I want them to, and that I get to feel tiny and safe with men I trust. With women, it's more equal. So we switch back and forth between being the cuddler and the cuddly. Also with women, we usually take turns getting attention and orgasming during sex, whereas with men it's more likely to be just one effort. Neither men nor women can get me off though. That I have to do myself. Dr. Ruth, the sex doc, has some good books about teaching someone you are with how to pleasure you, and also about not masturbating for a while so you become sensitive to someone else. My GF walks around naked more than my ex-BF. Most guys feel awkward having their parts dangling in the breeze, even if it's with someone who has seen them before. Right. Been with my husband for 10 years. He still cups his junk whenever he's naked. Meanwhile, mine likes to randomly enter the room and windmill his D at me. As a B-girl, the biggest difference is women are usually more emotionally invested but dramatic. Guys are usually laid back and fun but not as involved. Can you expand on what you mean by involved? Honestly curious. Well, from my personal experience with guys, it's usually more physical or romantically involved than emotionally. It's probably due to the stereotypes that guys shouldn't be emotional, or is just my experience. I'm sure some guys are emotionally great though. You know, some guys are just less emotional, and that's not inherently a bad thing. It's true there are those who need to pretend so they seem more resilient, but honestly, for some of us it's nothing to do with what we are taught to believe or forced to act. We are just less burdened by emotions than others. My ex-GF used to bet and I'm repressing feelings and emotions just cause I don't feel the same way as her about certain things. To have someone feel sorry for you when you're not even feeling sorry for yourself is frustrating and felt condescending to me, regardless of how genuine she was being about it. From my experience at least, WLW relationships tend to move faster. I can't explain it, like when I was with my ex we were so ride or die since day one, saying I love you after less than a month together. Very intense overall. Also, unfortunately, sometimes you get to realize how much bias and prejudice your friends and family might secretly hold. With men, I never had something like that. There were a lot more downtime, I guess. Also, no fear about having to go out while holding hands or introducing to the family. Although, aside from a few things, I think it's very different overall because people are different, you know? Like my ex was very extroverted and my BF is very introverted. So the dynamic changes because of that too. Isn't it a stereotype that two women who are in a relationship move in together almost right away? Yup, you whole lesbians. Apologies if this is a negative term for anyone. In my LGBTQ community, people will self-reference this way and find the stereotype funny. What do lesbians do on their second date? They rent a U-Haul. I actually have a problem finding women to talk to because they move way too quickly. I move slow no matter who I'm with. And every woman I've started to date has tried to demand we immediately start a serious, committed relationship despite a lot of them being married with children at the time. I'm expected to let them have a relationship with a guy and have a family and a totally separate life. But I have to just sit at home and wait on them and answer every single text within minutes. Man, rural areas are bullshit. Best comment of the day. Am I the only guy here who hates the idea of a threesome? You'll always be giving more attention to one person than the other, and I feel like I'd be super stressed the entire time trying to give both girls equal attention so as not to make either of them jealous, and that's assuming they wouldn't be more into each other than into me to begin with. So yeah, it's kind of my thing that I'm always super paranoid about my partner's enjoyment and quickly start feeling selfish the moment she starts putting in more work than me. Still better than being selfish though, so at least there's that. Speaking of which, do men really have a tendency to be more often selfish in this area? God damn it guys, set a good example.